Sometimes a single baseball game can tell you everything you need to know about two teams. And last night's game between the Dodgers and the Mets, it was way more than just a game. It was a story of two franchises heading in completely different directions. You had one team absolutely soaring, and the other, well, they were in a total freefall. So before a single pitch was even thrown, this was the number just looming over the New York Mets. 6. 6 straight losses. Look, that's not just a slump, that's a full-blown crisis of confidence. And their big challenge? Trying to snap that streak against one of the most powerful teams in the league. So yeah, you've got one team riding this huge wave of success, and another just caught in a downward spiral. The contrast, as you're about to see, could not be more dramatic. And here are the raw numbers that tell the story. The Dodgers, a dominant 12-4. The Mets, meanwhile, are struggling under .500, dragging that heavy 6-game losing streak with them. You can feel the difference in momentum right there. One team is flying high, the other is just desperately trying to stop the bleeding. So if the Mets were hoping for a fresh start, yeah, that idea evaporated pretty much right away. The Dodgers offense came out with one clear mission: take control of this game from the jump and never let go. And the Dodgers did not waste any time. Right there in the first inning, a single from Will Smith gets him on the board, 1-0. Okay, you think that's manageable, but the real gut punch, that was about to land in the third. 2 runners on base. Andy Pages steps up to the plate. And bam, a 364-foot shot to left. A 3-run homer that just sucked all the air right out of the Mets dugout. In one swing, a tight 1-run game turned into a 4-run mountain to climb. This wasn't a slow burn. It was a knockout punch thrown in the third inning. By the end of the night, the offensive gap was just staggering. Just look at this. Total bases, 14 for the Dodgers and a tiny 3 for the Mets. That is more than a 4-1 advantage. This wasn't just a win, it was complete and total domination at the plate. So while the Dodgers were busy launching baseballs into the stands, the Mets offense was basically nowhere to be found. It was just a long, quiet, and I'm sure deeply frustrating night for New York. Want to know how bad it was? It really all comes down to one single number: 3. That's it. That's how many hits the entire Mets team could string together over 9 whole innings. You just cannot win a baseball game like that. It's impossible. And here's a stat that's kind of weird, right? It sounds good at first, only 1 runner left on base. But why is that so bad? Well, it's because they barely had any runners to begin with. It just shows you an offense that couldn't even create a threat, let alone cash in on one. And all of that, it leads to this. The biggest, most painful number on the scoreboard for the Mets was a 0. A complete shutout. It's the final word on a night where their offense was totally and completely invisible. And if you want to put a face on this whole struggle, you don't have to look any further than their star shortstop, Francisco Lindor. An 0-for-4 night. And how does it end? By grounding into a game-ending double play. Look, when your best player is having a night like that, it's a pretty clear sign the whole team is just lost. So you might be asking, how does a game get this lopsided? Well, like it so often does in baseball, the real story happened on the pitcher's mound. This game was absolutely won and lost by the starting pitchers. On one side, you have an absolute masterpiece. The Dodgers' Justin Wrobleski goes 8 scoreless innings, gives up just 2 hits, just a completely dominant performance. And on the other side, you have David Peterson just laboring through 5 innings, giving up those 4 earned runs and taking his 3rd loss of the season. It was a total mismatch, and it decided everything. Okay, so the game's over, it was a blowout, but what does a single game at this actually mean for the bigger picture? Let's zoom out and take a look at the standings to see the ripple effects. For the Dodgers, hey, this is just business as usual. Another win that keeps them sitting comfortably right at the top of the NL West. They look every bit the part of a championship contender, and this is exactly where they expect to be. But for the Mets, man, it's a totally different story. This loss drops them to 7-10. They're now 3 games behind the Braves. That losing streak is now at 7 games, and it's digging them into a pretty deep hole, especially this early in the season. So let's just recap the whole story here, right? The Dodgers' offense was explosive. The Mets' bats were completely silent. The game was won and lost on the mound. And for New York, a really bad streak just got a whole lot worse, now at 7 straight losses. And that really leaves us with the one big question, doesn't it? Every team has a bad night, But at what point does a bad night become a bad week, and a bad week become a sign of a season in real trouble? For the New York Mets, that's the question they've got to figure out, and they better figure it out fast.